This is your tech news briefing for Thursday, November 10th. I'm Zoe Thomas for the Wall Street Journal. Mastodon, a decentralized microblogging site, has been blowing up in popularity since Elon Musk completed his purchase of Twitter. So, what's it like to use the Twitter alternative? And what makes Mastodon so appealing? Our senior personal tech columnist, Joanna has been giving it a go, and she's here to tell us all about it. Hi, Joanna. Thanks for coming on the show.
Anytime.
So if people are switching from Twitter to Mastodon, how familiar will Mastodon seem to people who do use Twitter?
Eventually, really simple. But there's a big area from signing up to figuring this out that is really complicated. I like to say it's harder to explain than to my child why he can't have Sour Patch Kids for every meal. It's like some of it just seems impossible. But you can get through it all. And when you do get through it all, you'll have an experience that's similar to Twitter.
So it's like a microblogging platform as well, with where I'll have like a username and be able to write, whatever I want to the world?
Yeah, so to understand it, you have to take a step back. And really what this is something called decentralized social media, or federated social media, as some are calling it. And so instead of one big tech giant like Meta with Facebook and Instagram, or Twitter with Elon Musk, this type of social network is distributed. And so the idea is that anyone can really run parts of this social network. And it's operated by different servers. And all of these different servers make up the bigger social network. And I know it's starting to sound confusing, but what's nice about this is that it isn't in the hands of one central person. And that means that users and the people who are running these servers can make up the rules, and they make sure things are running smoothly.
Okay, so if it's not run by one big company or one, individual like Elon Musk, what does that mean for people who are signing up for Mastodon? What will it mean for using the platform?
Yes, so signing up for the platform is definitely more complicated than signing up for a Twitter account or a Facebook account. You have to first sign up for a server because, as I mentioned, this is all about different servers working together and talking to each other for this bigger social media platform, which is called Mastodon. And so all of these servers, they make up the Mastodon platform. So when you first sign up, you select a server, and then you select a username. And similar to email, you kind of get an address together, right? So my server that I signed up for last week is mastodon.world, and my username is Joanna. And so that makes my whole address joannastern@mastodon.world. And so that server is where my information, my profile, my posts, my database of followers and the people I follow, that's all housed on that mastodon.world server.
Okay, so how do you go about picking a server? Is there a method to this?
Yeah, and that's really the hardest part of the sign-up process is picking this server. First, for normal people, they're like, why do I need to pick a server? What is this? I'm not an IT consultant, right? So first, you're got to understand what this thing is. Second, you want to pick a server that makes sense. And so one of the ways that the servers are sort of classified is based on different interests. You'll see some organized by artists or music and different interests, LGBTQ, journalists, etc. I want to say something, though, that is very important here. It doesn't matter what server you're on. You can talk to any person on any server. So even though I'm on mastodon.world and say, Zoe, you were on mastodon.social, I would still be able to see your posts if I followed you, and you would still be able to see my posts if you followed me.
You might pick a server, you said, because you have a group or community, but, who are the people behind them if they're not, say, a company? And how do you know you can trust them with your information?
Yeah, so this was the biggest question I set out to find out with this piece, because I signed up for this mastodon.world server, and I started understanding how this service works, right? Okay, some private server owned by somebody is housing this information, and happens to be some of my personal information, right? It's got my profile, it's got a photo of me, it's got my posts, even got direct messages that I'm putting on the server. So I decided to get in touch with the person who runs this server, and he happens to live in the Netherlands, and he decided to start doing this as a hobby a couple of years ago. And so I get in touch with him and I ask him, okay, what happens if your server goes down? He says, well, if my server goes down, yeah, you would lose everything, but I've got a backup for my server. I said, okay, well, what about the messages that I'm sending on direct messages? Can you see them? He's like, well, I could see them if I wanted to, if I went into gigabytes of data, but I don't want to, and I don't plan to do that unless there's some real extreme circumstance to do that. So the conversation really, to me, was about how much trust we're putting into these people that operate the servers. And truthfully, that's the case for any social media platform.
The fact that Mastodon is decentralized and that's where so many people are headed, does it tell us anything, sort of overall about what individuals are looking for when they go on social media?
I think right now there is definitely a group of people who have been on Twitter for a long time and now are seeing the service really disrupted by Elon Musk. For better or for worse, we don't know yet. But there are those that are feeling right now like this is not the place that I came to 10 years ago when I was first starting to use Twitter or social media. And those people might be longing for something else. I definitely know that, having been on Mastodon over the last couple of days, there is a different sense of community. There's a different sense of people actually just wanting to talk with each other and find information versus Twitter right now, which is really just riled up in the new ownership and lots of talk about the principles of free speech and blue check marks.
All right, that's our senior personal tech columnist, Joanna Stern. Joanna, thanks for explaining this for us.
Anytime.
And that's it for today's Tech News Briefing. If you want more tech stories, head over to our website, WSJ.com. I'm Zoe Thomas for The Wall Street Journal. Thanks for listening.